Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Man at YouTube with another modelling video. Today we're going to be reviewing and building a vintage Matchbox Firefly in 1/76 scale. A while ago I picked this up at a swap and sell, fairly cheap. These are very collectible, but I've decided to build and document it to showcase what this particular kit and the Matchbox range is all about, instead of just hoarding it away and keeping it in my collection for a future time that may not necessarily be built. So most likely later on these kits are going to be more scarce and less likely to be built online, so please enjoy. Now, these kits were very popular 30-40 years ago, when there was more kids building it than adults. Adults are very nostalgic about them now. Again, I've mentioned that when these are in prime condition, very collectible and fetch high prices online. The box is very unique, and we know Matchbox is very famous for making die-cast, very small toy cars, which are also extremely collectible. The special thing about this brand is they come with little diorama pieces, and occasionally other brands, I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I've built one a while ago, re-releases them and re-releases the molds. So I've got a bridge here, and a previous model I built came with a Crossroads mud European diorama with a sign. The plastic is moulded in brown and green for those who do not wish to paint. The tracks are vinyl. It comes with a decal sheet, but is long past and completely unusable. Has United States and English scheme, which is a disappointment because I actually kind of wanted to attempt the English decal scheme and paint job. But I've got my hands on some aftermarket und Panzer decals. The instructions were very clear and very easy to follow. The build was fairly straightforward. The fitting was actually quite excellent and it went together quite well, but traditionally Sherman framed tanks aren't normally that much of an issue, especially around the track and wheel department. The proportion does seem a bit off and the detail a little toy-like, but such a kit doesn't really get re-released or remade too often, and is prized as a collector's item due to its inaccuracies and interesting profile. Nonetheless, I had a lot of fun building it, and I absolutely love it, to tell the absolute truth. Especially the fact that the chances of coming across another one or more of these kits are very unlikely. I do, however, possess another 3 kits, 2 exactly the same, 1 missing part, so I've got no problems hacking into it, and the other one which I'll most likely build if there's interest in its review, a German Panther, I believe. Back to the Sherman. The only problem I did have was the tracks. Besides the hilarious fact that the spare tracks at the front and the actual vinyl tracks itself are 2 completely different animals, the tracks were very thick, very stiff and hard to work with. It would be near impossible to have it to just stretch around and loop, so I superglued it in place. It did resist a lot, however. I would also like to point out, the last time I visited a hobby shop, I've noticed Armorfast, a 72nd scale brand of tanks and armour, notably popular among wargamers due to its simplistic detail and its price for multiple kits in a box. Firefly does look very, very similar in proportions and detailed. If you would like to have something quite similar in your collection, the only major difference between the two is the tracks are completely molded in styrene and is far more accurate. The rest is pretty cool. Priming during the painting process started with Gaia Notes oxidized red primer. I started by spraying the underneath plate as well as within the track work and tracks. Allowed that about 15-20 minutes to dry, flipped and sprayed the rest of it, just looking out for any seam lines and faults, which to my surprise was quite reasonable. Besides the track area, I used very little putty on this model. Then I appreciated using Mr. Surfacer 1500 Black, which resulted in the base coat being Tamiya acrylic NATO green, and just to slide a bit of post shading to practice that sort of element to my modelling. A touch of sand over the highlighted areas as a post shade. Finer details such as the spare tracks, machine guns, extra details that need different colours, as well as the actual main tracks itself, were hand painted using various appropriate Tamiya acrylics, followed by a ink wash of Citadel black acrylic and a top coat of acrylic clear matte by Tamiya. Decals were included somewhere using my custom made decal set by Samuel Decals. Finished all up with a bit of weathering using MIG production pigments and setting solution. Kind of went a tad crazy on the finish and weathering, but more or less this is the finished result. The Matchbox 76 scale Firefly, a World War II tank in Girls and Panzer markings from the anime. More or less, really enjoyed the build. If I do come across more Matchbox kits for building, if I'm a fan of the subject or not, I will definitely investigate and have a go and build. If the model is within an appropriate price range from a second-hand dealer. It'll help if the box was a bit soiled or is missing pieces than something that's pristine from a collector's point of view. To be honest, I'm not very big on hoarding, keeping and buying collectible or very rare kits just to hold on for future generations. It is a shame that after a time passes that certain kits are no longer available, but that also goes with resins, soft vinyls and kits made in very short numbers, which makes me not so skeptical or critical of casting. But I do feel it is a slight obligation if you are to come across quite a rare kit that 90% of people will not ever have the chance to have a go at, is documenting the work in progress phase, and at least sharing that on some sort of capacity online or at shows, at least for other people to see what it is like to build that kit if they can't build it themselves. As we learnt from history and artifacts at places like museums and collections, it's better to document than not to have it all. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, until next time, I'm still enjoying these small-scale armour videos and builds, and we'll definitely continue and keeping them up. Also stay tuned to tutorials and the usual Gunpla content and usual segments. Thank you very much guys, and peace out. Have a good one. Keep building.